What's good, guys? Welcome back to Missing Person Case Monday. Today is going to be different. I have an update for you guys on the missing case of Aliea Brown. Aliea Brown was the 10-year-old missing from Baltimore, Maryland. And today, guys, I have some new information that has hit the platforms of social media. Aliea Brown's father was recently on Tipsy Talks, a podcast here in Baltimore. And I think it was really dope of them to have him on there so that way he can share his story. Now, guys, I have to say this. This interview is very, very sad. And it does spread light on the Aliea Brown story. So I want you guys to listen to it as you go through. I have chopped it up into bits and pieces because I would love for you guys to go to their platform and actually listen to the full interview. So again, thanks to Tipsy Talks for allowing him to come on their platform and sharing his story. I do want to say before we get into the video, though, that it does make you wonder a whole lot about missing person cases. And I think it's very important that we continue to share their names and do what we can to get the word out. So this is just an update. I personally think that it's truly sad that things have even come the way that it has. You know, did her mother in fact kidnap her because she was jealous that the courts were going to rule in the father's favor? I don't know. But what I have listened to, as you will see, is it makes me wonder, why would her mother go to great lengths to do this? And it makes you also wonder, why would you not want a man to be a father to their child? You know, there's so many children here today in this world who do not have their fathers. And if a father wants to be a father, allow that person to be a father. Set your pride aside and let them be a father. So guys, let's get into this. Let's get into this update. And as you guys listen, let me know what you guys think down below. And don't forget to go check out the full interview. It'll be linked down below so you can check it out on Tipsy Talks podcast. So guys, let's go.
She's still missing. We've made some ground. But I thought I made some ground on a couple things, but turned out to be nothing. So she's still, as it stands, she's still missing.
Okay. Do you guys have an idea who you think may have kidnapped her, or?
Well, I'm not gonna say she's kidnapped. I mean, that's the police don't believe it's an abduction. That's why. That's part of the reason why an Amber Alert didn't go out, but I have an idea of, you know, who may be involved, but I can't really be for certain, so I don't want to just point fingers without being for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start from the beginning, and so that we can get some more in-depth look as to what's been going on. So, were you present in Alea's life?
I was present in the background. I wasn't never in the forefront because there was a lot of back and forth drama with, you know, the other parents. So I wasn't present where you would be able to like know who I was by face, but I was always around.
So as time went on, did you try to, you know, get a relationship with Aliea?
Oh, absolutely. Day one, when I found out, you know, she existed.
What the hell?
I've been taking steps, trying to do what I needed to do as far as both legal and not legal, because personally, I don't really feel like, you know, the state should have the hand in, you know, personal business. But it got to a point where I had no other choice. It got so bad that I pretty much had to go that route.
Can you elaborate on like what you mean by it got so bad?
I went to jail a lot, more times than I could count, for stuff that I didn't do. Kept getting lied on, arrested. I had case after case, and it didn't get me no closer to establishing a firm relationship with my daughter. So
Now, was this happening because the other parent wasn't feeling you, or was it a lot of spite?
I mean, I don't really know what the reason behind it was, and at this point, it don't even matter. But I just know that it definitely put a big distance as far as our relationship. So once I started to clear out the legal side of things on my end, then I could really focus on Aliea.
So were you ever cleared of any of the things that you were arrested for?
Yeah, originally no. When I got arrested, convicted of something that I didn't do at all, something that I wasn't even present for, I went to jail for that. I had to appeal that, wait for the appeal. I won the appeal, and then from that point, the rest of my cases started to go in the way that they supposed to have went.
So how long was the process, like, as far as between you being arrested and them finally saying, okay, these were false allegations, and start dropping charges and things like that?
Man, that takes years, honestly, because once anybody that ever been through the system knows that a lie goes around 3 times as fast than the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And from my first conviction, it was December, I believe, 2009. I didn't get back in court on that until December of 2010, and that was just one of the cases that I had against me. I was getting accused of selling drugs, holding guns, beating up people that I'd never even seen in my life, stuff like that. Stuff that you can just go into the commissioner and write a statement out, and then I had a warrant the next day.
Because people, let's be clear, in order for you to press charges on a person, the only thing you have to do is go to the courts and say this person did X, Y, and Z. And
that's it. All you got to do is walk into the commissioner, say such and such happened, such and such did it. They look at you, they take your statement as probable cause, you raise your right hand, swear to God it's true, and that's all they need. They don't ask any questions. They lock you up first or summons you to court.
I want to pause. Pause right there first. That's crazy, first of all. And I'm really glad that he went on here, because you don't see a lot of fathers doing this type of stuff, taking the initiative to figure out where their child is. Not saying that they don't, but if you know for a fact that they haven't been technically kidnapped, or missing like that, but you know who did it, I think it's very important that he's doing this, saying his side, because when I first heard the story and the police were saying that they didn't list it as an abduction, she had to have known the person, it made me question it as well, like, well, what's going on? And of course, you can't find out all that information on social media, but that's the one great thing about social media. The power of it is platforms like this, people doing podcasts or YouTubes, because I think it's very important to set the record straight, because people are missing, and if she legit was kidnapped by her own mother, I think her mother needs to go to jail. But of course, you can't do that because they're the parent. But from what I believe is he technically got that full custody, and that's why she set this in motion. And I always said it had to be more to this story. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because this is like an hour and my phone about to die. But I did want to let you guys hear some bits and pieces of it, because I think it's very important to update you guys on what is happening in these missing person cases, because it could be anybody. And if your situation is similar, maybe you have some type of advice, for Mr. Darrell. So I'm trying to figure out how I can skim through this a little bit.
Just find out, like, all the rest of the world.
Right.
That's a part of the problems that I was having. I couldn't have, a constant access to her. No one would talk to me from that side of the family. I didn't have a really great rapport with anyone except her mom. So, of course, we knew what she was doing at the time. So, no, I didn't. That's how I found out. And no.
So I'm sorry.
No, obviously, so that had to have been tough. Like,
yeah,
to see your baby.
Yeah, it's not even that. I mean, you see mom on the news, and you wonder like, did something happen to her? Because I didn't even have the volume on. I just turned the TV on.
And her face was on.
Yeah, so I thought something really bad happened, and I'm like, next, okay, well, where's my daughter?
Right.
Like, what's going on? And then I'm getting into it and learning what really happened. And
so, what's the next steps after that? After that, was she taken out of her custody? How did that go?
She wasn't taken out of her custody.
Oh wow.
A referral went over to the Department of Social Services. They got in contact with me. They expressed, their concerns about certain situations. I told them the problems that I've been having as far as access, communication, and they assured me that I would have a better, communication. I would have visitation. I would do X, Y, and Z, and they did absolutely nothing.
Wow.
The complete opposite. And it was mainly because, from what they said, mom wasn't cooperating with, access, communication, and they assured me that I would have a better, communication. I would have visitation. I would do X, Y, and Z, and they did absolutely nothing. Like the complete opposite.
And if it was reversed, if he had her and he pulled those stunts that she pulled, they'd have been coming and pulling that child out the house. I can mark my words on that. They do the fathers so trifling, especially the fathers who are legit trying to be fathers. So I'm going to skim up. I'm not going to do all this because I want you guys to go check out their podcast yourself, but I did want to touch on some of their stuff.
The first night of that, I went to jail.
Wait, so you guys went to court, and court said, okay, you can have your child weekends or...
Yes, this is fast forwarding now to...
This is 2019.
This is 2018.
2018, okay.
Yes.
So the courts finally ruled in your favor and said, okay, now you can get your child on weekends.
This is what the court was doing. Okay, I filed it in 2017.
Okay.
Between 2017 and 2019, going to 2018, they said as a part of their mediation, because really and truthfully, nobody wants to go to trial. Nobody wants to go to trial. It's truly expensive because of the lawyers paying per hour. You got to, of course, courts get their cut, but it costs a lot of money. So they wanted to do everything that they knew possible to avoid trial, and in the process of that, the visitation was a part of it. So 2018, February 21st, was the first installment of their plan.
Okay, so let's go to this is the night of February 21st, you said?
We can go to the afternoon.
Okay, so the afternoon you picked Aliea up where, from school?
Yes.
Okay. And what happened?
Well, before that, I called my sister. I said, I need you to ride with me to the school. I don't like to ride nowhere by myself when it comes to that, because I need somebody to say that I wasn't doing whatever I might be accused of doing. So
because you've been accused so many times. Okay.
It's from that point, from me coming out of the whole criminal side, it's CYA to
exactly. Well, when you've been arrested so many times for things that you know you haven't done, that's how you have to carry. Right. You have to make sure that. I
told my sister to ride with me to the school. We went and picked her up. She was fine. She, immediately, mom called. I don't have a problem with that. Put her on the phone. She spoke to her for a little bit. She had dance, I think, or ballet or something like that. Extracurricular activity that I was supposed to take her to. I don't know exactly what happened. I think she didn't have a uniform with her, but however we got the phone. And I told, because when I do have Aliea, typically what happens is her phone goes crazy. Mom will call a lot, and it kind of interferes with
the time you're spending
right.
there. Okay.
So to circumvent that, I asked Aliea, I said, well, let me use your phone. She gave me the phone, put it up in the cup holder, told her she would get it back when we park. Because we in Howard County right now, and I live in Baltimore. So it's a little bit of a ride. We can talk about your day. We don't have to talk about you stay on the phone while we in the car.
Right, yeah.
I think she was upset about it, so she cried a little bit. The phone didn't hang up, and I think Mom heard her crying, so immediately my phone started blowing up. Started losing it, words that I don't really want to remember, but she eventually ended up showing up to my house that night. The first night, this was supposed to be me to have it overnight. Mm-hmm. Showed up to my house with her mom, and
Alea's mom showed up with her mom.
Yes.
Okay.
And came to my door, banging on my. Well, the reason why she said she came to my house was to come pick up her phone that she gave to Aliea. So I'm like, okay, well, come get the phone. That's fine. She showed up, of course, had a different objective, but I went outside, gave her the phone. As I turned to go back in, that's when it kind of went bad. She followed me in. I know who I'm dealing with, so I'm like trying to stay away because I'm not trying to go to jail. But she followed me into my building. I have a security door. She followed me in the security door, so I'm like, just leave. It's not that. Just leave. And of course, she demanded to see Aliea, and then now by this time, my daughter's upset, crying, and it's just pure chaos. I go to turn to my actual door, walk in, and she barged into my home. Told Aliea to leave, run outside, and get in the car, which she did.
Wow.
And by that time, my girlfriend actually walked outside and started recording it. And she approached her and took her phone. So now I got to deal with my daughter seeing all this. Number one, my daughter's mother running around the street with my girlfriend's phone.
Wait, so she took your girlfriend's phone from your girlfriend?
Yeah, she had actually just got out of surgery earlier that week. She had a surgery.
This is your girlfriend had a surgery? Okay.
She had surgery, so she really wasn't supposed to be up walking or doing any of that.
And she had to deal with all of that.
Right, so she just trying to protect me, just started recording because she couldn't do nothing else.
Right.
She couldn't defend herself, so she ended up taking her phone out of her hand. So now I'm like, just leave, give me the phone back and leave. Like, you got the daughter, just leave. I don't even know who called the police, but they ended up...
So wait, I missed something. She took the daughter so she took the phone and she took your daughter.
Yeah, when I went to go back in the house, both mom and grandma came in my house and basically told Aliea to go get in the car.
Sorry, y'all, my battery died.
Just go. Just don't even have to continue. Somebody called the police and they ended up showing up, and another lie came out saying that I punched her in the face. I punched her grandma. Well, that's what the grandma said. I punched her in the face.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I tried to, hit her with a shovel or something like that.
Yo, this man is strong because I haven't even listened to this whole podcast, right? I'm listening like I am with y'all just to get little bits and snippets. But it just makes it so sad that men have to go through this shit. And now that I'm listening to this, I do believe that Aliea was not kidnapped. She's not missing. I believe she was kidnapped by her own mother or whoever is involved, because it's like you're doing all that because the court's appointed him full custody now, and then everything leading up to that point, it's like, girl, do you know how hard it is for some people out here to even have fathers wanting to be involved in their children's lives? Like, girl, you are blessed. And I say that to any of my friends or peers, like, if the dad wants to be involved, let that dad be involved. Because it's hard out here being a parent. I can't even imagine being a single parent. Let these men be fucking fathers.
Comes to my house.
Yeah.
Uninvited. And cause chaos where I live.
Right.
If I do put my hands on them, I feel like I'm justified. Yeah. You're here. This is happening. I don't want this to be happening. So if you protect yourself, then, like, at what point, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to wait until a person kills you before?
Right.
You would...
Maybe.
far as the eyes of the law, you would need to be in dire situation before you could, I guess, react, because any type of domestic situation, somebody's going to jail if they show up. That's how they view it. They don't care. They don't ask questions.
Yo, this got me hot.
Outside, my neighbors were telling them everything that happened. Basically, what I just said. I still went to jail.
So did she go to jail?
Yeah.
Okay, so
she went to jail too.
We both went to jail, but we didn't get charged. We got released at the station, saying it was a domestic disturbance because, like I said, what I said happened is what happened. So they let me go. And that was the first attempt at this whole.
Did you get a restraining order, protective order, something to protect yourself so this doesn't happen again? Since she knew where you lived.
This is funny. Well, not funny, but this is where it gets kind of interesting. When I went to go for a restraining order, they referred it to back to the court, the family court.
Oh Lord!
But in this case, they saw that the custody situation was kind of not traumatic, but it was
all over the place,
highly contested. So they ordered that the court appointed social worker do an investigation in the both of us, as far as background, type of problems that I've been having. They call it a custody evaluation. So I deferred that to the court. We basically agreed not to prosecute each other, and we walked away and we said let them do their investigation.
Okay, so someone on Facebook Live said that the police have to find evidence like scratches, visible marks, bruises. Did she have any? The mom, did she have any scratches or?
I don't know if she had a scratch on her or not, but it wasn't none that I put there. I mean.
And you had video to prove it.
Well, the video was dark. It was dark outside, but I never really I never made no moves towards her to put a scratch on her. The police took us both to jail because they heard my side, they heard mom's side, and they said that, I'm trying to remember what they said, it was last year, 2018, but they gave me some type of rundown about it being a domestic disturbance, so they was arresting us both. That's basically what they told me.
I just think that's so crazy. And listening to this, y'all, I'm just mind blown. Oh my gosh. I want to hear something.
All right. She said she tried to kill herself with a knife in your kitchen, and then the guidance counselor, I'm guessing, got DSS involved.
The guidance counselor called. Mom likes it or not,
Because basically mom's been skating through the system. She's been getting what she wants.
Right.
So.
And now we're in front of a judge that pretty much is about to determine how this is going to go. So those nights that I knew that she was going to be with me, I went and bought a camera system. I put it in my room and turned it on for while she was asleep, because I don't need stories coming out saying that I'm sleeping in the bed with her or
right.
I'm doing X, Y, and Z stuff that I'm not doing. CYA.
Mm-hmm.
And my camera system actually caught this quote-unquote runaway. It was actually a stage runaway where there was an Uber waiting outside for Aliea, and someone came to my window and pretty much helped her out my window.
No.
She was awakened. This is all on video. She was awakened by a phone call from someone, and she started putting on clothes. She put on my robe. She put on some socks and shoes, and then you can hear somebody at my window talking, and then they just jumped out.
What?
That is despicable. So someone was coercing her and kind of telling her what she needs to do and helped her run away. So it wasn't technically a runaway.
Yeah, it was staged. It was
a kidnapping, is what it sounded like.
It was staged. It was a horrible attempt at that. But once I put the pieces together, and I found her that night. She went to the hospital to get an evaluation, so I picked her up from the hospital.
Wait, who took her to the hospital?
Her grandma.
So how did grandma get her? If she
Hold
ran
the
away?
phone.
How'd that happen?
Oh my God.
Well, this is how I found out, because the Uber went to an address of grandma's, and the Uber is tied to mom's account.
Dumb. Just dumb.
So that's how I found out, through her phone.
Dumbass.
And I pretty much tracked the Uber trip, the history, and that's kind of how I figured it out.
So when you say eval, what kind of eval do they want? Physical, mental?
I guess they was just doing a normal physical. At least that's what the...
Probably to make sure, like, nothing happened.
Why do you need a physical when you leave your father's house?
Because the mom or whoever probably said he over there sexually assaulting her or whatever. Yo, some of these mothers trifling. Like, I just can't. Like, this, now that all of this is coming out, oh my gosh. And I know y'all probably listening to this, like, mind blown. But that's why I have to report on this, because I don't want no fake missing person cases on my channel. I want to give you guys the real deal, the real ish as it unfolds, as I find it, because I think you guys deserve to hear it, because if you've been following the journey, you know, you get attached to these stories. Like, oh my God.
I don't know the reason for the visit to the hospital. I just know she was there because that's what, you know, the police told me, and I went to go pick her up.
That is
Then
very
we go to police
traumatic
involved to
child.
get booked.
Yeah,
I'm confused about a few things. So was the police called?
what you mean?
So once she ran away and she was at the hospital, my grandma found her miraculously, and she took her to the hospital. Did anyone call the police to say?
When I got to the hospital, I spoke to their security and pretty much just told them the situation while I was there to pick her up. I don't know who I didn't know who brought her there at the time, so I just said I'm here to pick her up. Then I found out grandma had dropped her off, and then she was gone.
And they should have video of, you know,
pretty
as
much
she's
dropped
coming
her
in the
off.
hospital and stuff like that.
So you kidnap her to drop off.
See, the thing is, this is what I mean about the failed attempt. I don't think whoever set this up,
Grandma.
Thought about it.
and I'm like,
Sounds about right.
however it was set up, they didn't know I had a camera system, so they didn't expect me to know she was going to be gone that quick.
Mm-hmm.
They thought it was going to be me waking up in the morning and just realizing she was gone, and she would have had hours to be gone.
So did you just wake up and?
Oh, I didn't sleep that night. I pretty much was sleeping in spurts, like maybe 10 minutes at a time, just to make sure she was okay.
Okay.
I didn't sleep at all, so I don't know. Something told me to wake up. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and
His spirit, that was nothing but God.
checked my cameras and saw that.
So did the police do an investigation on that?
Yeah, they looked at my. I showed them what I had.
So did mom get arrested? Did grandma get arrested? Did anyone get arrested? Did they look at the phone records?
The Uber account?
Right.
Something.
It all gets worse. Like, it goes. All of that information went back to the judge.
Okay. The judge who was handling your case.
Right.
Okay.
The judge pretty much was upset, but not enough. She didn't make any drastic changes.
Are you
there was
kidding me?
There was what'd you say? There was no real, like, punishment behind it.
So she been getting away with murder, clearly.
All right. So.
And I'm telling you guys, let this would have been the other way around, he would have not gotten no more custody of his fucking child. I believe, I'm telling you.
The judge found this information out, and then what was her ruling next? Like, what was? Did you guys have to go back to court?
Between January of 2019 and March, I was in court almost maybe 2-3 times per month, and I would go to court, show judge, this is what happened at my house the first night. Judge, this is what happened, on this occasion. Judge, this is what happened on this occasion. And it had to get to a point where, she couldn't ignore
it. Like,
pretty much the behaviors.
Oh,
and by March is when she pretty much transferred custody, legal and physical, to me.
wow.
Okay. So was Aliea moved to your home then, or?
It's so much. Which instance are we speaking about?
So I'm
stressing me out.
This first instance where she ran away and the judge finally said, okay, well.
Yeah, she didn't say that because of that. She said, it was more things happening between her school, and a bunch of stuff, to be honest with you. I mean, you got to give me, like, what you want to know.
I want to know everything. So she came to your house. This is the first night that she's really going to be staying there. Well, not the first night, but the first time since the judge has said, okay, we're going to go ahead and have him get some type of custody, right? She runs away. What's the next situation that happened after that, since that's not why the judge made the ruling? What happened next?
Oh, boy. The next thing that happened was the next time it was, time for me to get her. She, Aliea, went to school and told, I guess, the guidance counselor that she tried to kill herself.
She told her guidance counselor at her school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said that she tried to kill herself with a knife in my kitchen.
All right, she said she tried to kill herself with a knife in your kitchen, and then the guidance counselor, I'm guessing, got DSS involved.
The guidance counselor called me. They told me, what she said. They said we don't see any type of, wounds or anything like that. But they recommended that I took her to the hospital, gave her official evaluation. So I did. I took her to the hospital.
And her mom probably told her to lie and say that.
I took her to the hospital probably like maybe 6 or 7 that evening because I was at work. Mm-hmm. And when I went to go get her, I was just explaining to her, like, listen, you perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. So don't go in here and let them tell you, something's wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you perfect. But when you go to school and you say these type of things, whether it be true or not, they think that you're telling the truth. And this is what happens as a result. I had to explain that to her before we even walked into the hospital. But before I could even go to the hospital, as a part of the agreement or the custody agreement, Mom was supposed to have a call at least once a night when she's with me. And I think it's for about 15, 20 minutes. So, of course, I let her call her mom. And when she did that, the police was at Mom's house. And the police was pretty much telling me that I needed to pull over because they needed to do a wellness check to make sure that, the child was okay. So, me being en route to the hospital, I had to pull over and wait at a Royal Farms for a police officer to come and check on my child. That I'm going to go have evaluated because I'm checking on my child,
Right. All right, so since we are running out of time, I kind of want to fast forward a little bit. So these things that happened, what was the next major thing that happened before she disappeared?
Before her disappearance, after the whole evaluation and all of that happened, she comes back to my house. She goes back to school, and then she tells, I guess, another guidance counselor that I molested her.
Yo.
And is Aliea doing this, or the mother?
Again, I'm not going to point no fingers about, where it's coming from, but that's what was said.
Never in my life would I do that. I don't care.
That I had to catch her on the runaway.
Mm-hmm. On the kidnapping, it's not a runaway, but okay.
Yeah. The cameras that caught the whole incident, it was being named as me using the cameras to record her naked. I'm using my...
I had to try to figure out a way to get rid of the camera system so that way when she made whatever attempt, the next attempt, she had to make sure the cameras were out of the way. So,
to be honest, it was a good change of narrative. It was a great change of narrative, but to be... As I don't know where, y'all from, but where I'm from, There's two things that you don't walk around with on: a child molester, and a rep.
Right.
That's it. I don't play them type of games. I would never do that to anybody's child, let alone my own. But I was accused of using my cameras to sell the child pornography. Pretty much a bunch of BS.
So then they did an investigation, of course.
Yes.
And what were their findings?
They found absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
I was ready to take a lie detector. I said, whatever you need, do it. Because, I don't play them type of games.
So what did the judge say?
Well, once DSS, because they got back involved, DSS did their investigation. The police did their investigation. And they found that
the mother was lying.
There is nothing to substantiate these claims. And they recommended that pretty much business as usual, custody be returned. Right. And then she vanished.
Wow.
From where? Like, was she in school? Like, tell me about the day that she vanished.
The day that she vanished was actually that morning, and it was the day before they were going to pretty much quash the case. They being DSS.
Oh, okay.
By this time, was mom still able to communicate with her, or did they take all communication away from mom?
By this time, they took all communication away. Mom wasn't for the time being, they said no more communication. Mom made claims that because she was in foster care by this time, because
of the molestation.
She had to investigate.
Okay.
And
but you
of course,
even want to put your child through
they
that.
They recommend that she be with mom. So now she's in foster care. It's like ridiculous. And before that was about to be over, she vanished.
So she vanished from the foster care.
Mm-hmm. That's why everyone's seeing the Aaron Russell court. That's not an address that she lives. That was the where she was staying, the person. And I had met the parent and all of that, because in between time, I was still going to go and visit.
Did the foster parents see someone that had her? Do they have any? I want to make sure that I put this information out so that way if anyone sees her or thinks that they...
The only thing that was saw was a white SUV in the area at the time of her disappearance.
What color is her mom's car?
She has a white SUV.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not putting no fingers to anyone because I don't know for sure what's going on, but she vanished. And a child just does not vanish.
Nope.
Like for 8 months.
Okay. So do you, at this point, because she's been gone since May the 25th, so at this point, do you have any other information that you want to put out there so that way if anyone sees her or...
Just call the police. I mean, if you see her, if you know anybody that knows her, I didn't come here to, again, bash anybody. I'm just telling the truth. If you see her, just call the police. I just want to know that my child is okay. And as any other parent, you will want to know the same. I don't care what situation you're in. You could be in the worst situation in the world, but if you know your child is okay, at least you could sleep well. You know, I ain't slept in 8 months and counting. She been gone. I ain't had my daughter since May the 8th. She was gone since May the 25th. And the police, that's another story. They didn't post her picture because... I didn't post her picture a week later because I was on the phone with them telling them, listen, her picture is not on your website. What's the problem?
So they didn't even post a picture of her even though she was missing?
Not until a week later. That's why a lot of people in the comments was like, why is this happening? Why are you just saying this now? And I started to play them games, but I don't really do the whole comment thing. I pay attention to see if I can use something. But that's why her picture wasn't up there, because they didn't post it until a week later.
So there was no Amber Alert, there was no picture posted on the website?
No, they don't feel like it was a stranger abduction. They can't prove, they don't feel like it was a stranger abduction, right? But neither parent has seen this child, and neither parent knows this child is okay. So if I haven't seen her, mom says she hasn't seen her, you don't know where she at, how can you tell me that you think where you think she is? Like, how can you tell me that we don't think this is a stranger abduction?
So where's the mom? Like, where's the mom at right now?
No clue.
So I'm going to just say this because I think the viewers are thinking the same thing.
I'm deceased, okay?
Likely, possibly.
Does the mom still live in Maryland?
No clue.
So the mom is vanished, and
I will say this: I don't believe that Aliea is in Maryland anymore.
Do you feel like the police? I know this is an ongoing case, but do you feel like they're doing their due diligence to find your child?
No.
For anybody that has a missing child, just reported them missing or been missing for a while, I'm gonna tell you, if they don't find your child within 5 days, you are on your own. And that's as real as it gets. They will care and use their resources for up to 5 days, but if they don't find them in a week, you on your own. You on your own to put the puzzle together yourself. And for me, I'm looking for a needle in a haystack right now. On my own.
So you've been doing your own investigation?
Absolutely. I don't speak about it because I work in the shadows. You know, I don't want to tip off anyone that might know, you know. So I've been doing my research, but trust me, the police will not work nearly as hard as you as a parent. And it's sad. And that's why all these kids are going missing. That's why all these kids showing up on Murder Inc. every week, missing child. They're not putting the resources to that. And they don't know where to look either. And I'm not about to go to Aaron Russell Court and knock on the doors, which I already did, but I'm not going to go back because she's not familiar with that area. She doesn't live there, and, you know, I could put the flyers up, but she's not in that area.
And if she was with the foster family, if she came back there, I'm sure the foster family would have said something by now to DSS.
And there was claims made against the family.
By
Mom, saying that she was abusing them. Just like I supposedly was.
So, before we go off the air, I need her age.
Y'all, I have no words. Well, he's absolutely right. When your child goes missing, I don't know what it's like to have a child goes missing. But what I have witnessed in looking at different cases is it's like you do not even know their name. There's so many people that I'm finding stories and I don't know their name. And I know it's very hard for the police officers and investigators because when you have so many going missing, you know, and there's not enough resources, I definitely can understand. But that's why it's so important that we as the viewers, as the people on the outside, continue to keep their names alive, continue to share, repost, do what we can do, because the power in social media is a wonderful thing. I will say that. And I just feel so deeply hurt just listening to that, because it's like so many things could have been avoided in this process. You know, if the mother just would have just let her father be a father, and we wouldn't have now a child missing, you know, kidnapped by her own mother, which I'm pretty sure has done this. So sad, so sad. And for what? Like, you did all of that for what? I do pray she is safe and sound, you know, and I do pray if someone sees her, they speak up and tell the police that I think this is the missing girl from Baltimore. But I did want to update you guys because, like I said, as I find things, I will continue to shed light on it. And I want to thank Tipsy Talks for actually having her father on their platform and to being able to get his side of the story out. I think it's an amazing thing. And like he said, you are on your own as a missing person's family, and we have to do what it takes in order to get them back home safe and sound. So until the next missing person case, guys, I will see you. And let's make sure we share this video. Let's make sure you go check out the full interview. And yeah, let's send love and light to Aliea Brown's family. Bye, guys.